you're probably going to buy video games. Not going to stop you. Nothing wrong with that. We all have some form of entertainment, or at least I hope we would. And many of you like playing games. Nice. And depending on how much you're willing to spend on those games, you know, it's going to differ from one person to another. Some people are willing to spend $50 for a video game. Some people, only 99 cents. And you know what? If they're equally as entertained, you know, themselves, what does it matter how much they pay? But do you want to get more bang for your video game buying buck? You may want to take a look at a new guest blogger post there on LockerGnome.com titled 5 Ways to Get More Bang for Your Buck on Video Games. It's an apt title, I thought, you know, very appropriate for the tips that he lists in the article. See, it's the article that we've linked in the blog post. So a few of the tips, find a genre that suits your style. And I think this is probably the how do I put this? Some people believe there's only one kind of video game, but in fact there's not. There's many kinds of video games. Just because you like one genre doesn't mean that it's the only genre. So if you like first-person shooters, cool. Not everybody has to like first-person shooters to enjoy video games. Find the genre that suits your style. Now, even if it's not the same style as somebody else, doesn't mean that you're any less of a gamer, despite what some people might say. If you enjoy video games, cool. A certain type of video game, awesome. Personally, I like puzzle games. I do. I enjoy casual video games. I have plenty of them, let me tell you. Probably cost me, I get about 50 video games at the price of 99 cents a game. As most people would be, you know, thrilled having one video game for $50. I'm just as thrilled of having 50 video games for $1 a piece. That's just me. We're all different. And you know what? That's okay. So finding a genre that suits your style is probably a good starting point. You may ask friends for recommendations. I'm sure you can ask anybody out there, hey, what video game should I play? And they're going to give you a different answer. There's always a hot video game of the month. Well, seemingly, because, you know, new video games keep getting churned out by the industry. Not just by the official, you know, the big industry, the big publishers, but also independent publishers as well. Make sure you're comfortable with the interface. So when you're getting into the video game, you know what it's like to actually use the game itself. This is one of the reasons why some of those video game subscriptions that are out there are probably a better option for people. I remember growing up, you know, we didn't have a lot of money to throw around, and still don't have a lot of money to throw around, but to buy a new, well, in my time, NES cartridge, a Nintendo cartridge, it cost about $30 or $40, and we just didn't have enough money to buy it. So what we would do is we would rent it for like 99 cents or $1 or whatever from the local grocery store, play it for the weekend, and be good. That was it. And we were able to enjoy the game. Some cases we were able to beat the game. Other cases we realized, you know, we want to play this game more frequently. We want to spend the money on it. But at least we didn't have to spend $30 up front to buy a game that had poor controls. And even back then, you know, with a simple NES controller, there were still some really bad video games. Really bad. Same could happen on the PC, the Xbox, PS3, the Game Boy, whatever. Doesn't matter what the platform is. A bad game is a bad game. But sometimes you got to know if it's going to be a bad game. Borrow it from a friend, rent it through a service. Don't just buy the game outright, even if it's the newest game. In fact, that's his next tip. Don't buy a game on release day. Now, unless you're really, really, really anxious to get a hold of the game, you can save a few bucks. Just wait. You know, the nice thing about being able to buy used video games today is that you don't really lose any kind of playability in the used video game, and you can save money. Someone may have bought the video game, defeated it in a weekend, and then, you know, basically resold it as a used video game. And there's nothing really. You're just playing software, right? It's just replaying bits. It's used, but it's not really used. You can save so much money unless you're a huge fan of the game, of the genre. You can't live any other way other than having that video game the day it's launched. But you can save so much money and still enjoy yourself with the video game. So you can be frugal and still have fun at the same time. Other tips, of course, they're in the article. Take a look. It's linked in this video's description.